Welcome back to my channel. I am doing a review of what I've read in April. I read 15 books and 6,246 pages. So the first book I read was A Flame and Fury. It's 4.5 stars, and it's a romantasy. I loved this book. I need to buy this book. It comes out in July, and instead of like dragon riders, they're phoenix riders, and they race, and it's just chaotic, and the things that happen and the way it ended, it's to me it seems open-ended, but then when I think back on it, it's not open-ended. But it can't end that way. There's no way it can end that way. So I need to get it, and I want to read it again, and I want to know if she's going to make another one to that series, because I can't imagine that ending being the ending of that book. Then I read City of Bones, the first book of the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. I'm doing a reread of all of Cassandra Clare's books that I have, like of the Mortal Instruments, Shadowhunter world. And I gave that one 5 stars, mainly due to nostalgia purposes. It's still so good. I loved it the first time, loved it the second time. And it's about Jason Clary, and Clary is a mundane. Jace is a shadow hunter, and Clary figures out that she can see him when she's not supposed to, figures out she's partly shadow hunter, and her mom's kept a secret this entire time. And then it's her navigating through the shadow hunter world with this villain coming about, and ends up being the villain is her father. And there's a lot of confusion going on and miscommunication going on, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I could not believe when I was writing it down. It's from 2007. I was like, oh my God, I read these when they were coming out. So yeah, I really liked that one. And then I read The Tainted Cup because I got the second one, A Dance of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. I got it as an ARC, and I'm actually going to be reading that one soon. So I got the first one, and I gave it 4.5 stars. And it, to me, it's a sci-fi fantasy. That's exactly what it's described. It has leviathans that are supposedly like really tall. They come out of the earth during the wet season, and they kill people. Like, I don't think they're killing people intentionally. If they come out and they're stomping around and people die. And this is like a Sherlock Holmes Watson retelling. So the girl is Anna. She's Sherlock Holmes, and Din, which is the assistant, um, he's called an engraver. He is technically Watson. He's sent out for a job for her because a tree spontaneously bursts out of his body and he dies. And they want her and him to solve the murder. And other people are dying from these trees, but they don't know each other, so they're trying to piece it all together. And it's so funny to watch Anna put things together because it doesn't make any sense. And then Din is confused, and I'm like, you're the one that gave her all the information, and you never put it together. And then once she's explaining, it doesn't make sense until the very end. Then it's like, then it clicks. It's like, okay, yeah, I cannot wait to read the next one. And then I read Pucking Around, and that one's from Emily Rath. It's the first one of the Jacksonville Ray series. I do have the book, but I lent it to a friend, and I gave that one 5 stars. I loved it. I loved every little second of it. I wouldn't change a thing. And like, it's called like a reverse harem, why choose type of situation. I personally wouldn't call that. It is a sports romance, poly romance, because 2 of the men do also end up together, but they're also with her. And then there's the other man from the team also, and it's a whole thing. And Rachel is a physical therapist. She helps with hips and knees, and she's on the team to help with their hips and knees. And one guy she knew before she worked there, and they spark back up, but she's nervous because she signed in a non-fraternization, so she's not supposed to be with them, but she is. And then she's with somebody else, and then she gets another one, so there's 3. And there are circumstances because she doesn't want to be with people like long term because of lots of reasons, and I understand. Well, I've never been in those situations, but if I were in that situation, I get it. Like I get why she's not, you know, wants to be in a full relationship. But the ending was so good. I cried. It was so sweet, and I really, really, really want to jump into the next one. So then, right after that, I read Bonds of the Forsaken, and I gave that one 5 stars. It's by Olivia K. It's the first book of Her Forsaken Mates, and because I got the second one as an arc, so I was like, well, I got to read the first one. And it is a reverse harem, romantic-y type of situation. So there's fae, there's shifters, there's vine magic, there's little dragons. I mean, there's just so much going on in these books. And there's magic, but people that do magic are supposed to be big no-nos. And so she can do magic, but she has a ring that she wears and it suppresses it. And whenever she gets to an island, because she's sent for a job with another man, and she takes her ring off so she can sense people around her, so she knows how to avoid everybody. And she's supposed to find like a rune or something, or a relic. She can sense relics, and relics are usually like a person with a lot of magic that you can use them to your advantage on others. So she hunts those and she gives them to like her boss, and she always thought that she was destroying them. And also, it happens to be that one of the guys that she goes with, he is a mate. Another one, he's damn crazy. Wow, he's a mate. One from a previous, like a few years back, he's one. She meets the last one at the very end of the book, and then how that one ended, I completely lost my mind, and I like looked at my husband and like started crying because I was like, it can't end this way. How is this ending this way? But she's going through and she's trying her hardest to find these relics for her boss, and shit hits the fan. Then I read Beguiled by Ivy Wild. It's from the Dark Secrets duet. I give this one 3.5 stars. I think it could have been a lot better than it was. It's like ball gown era, and there's magic. They're fae, and she didn't know she was a fae. She thought she was a human, and she was put in the human world, and she finds out she's fae, and they take her back, and they're trying to teach her everything because she's actually betrothed to somebody, and she's supposed to be a queen, but she likes somebody else. She's really looking at somebody else, but then the other one she's starting to feel is feeling for him, and it's a mess. It is a mess. So I'm like, I don't know. And I would consider it also a romantasy because of the whole fae situation. But the spice, it was like really quick at the very end. And I don't know if I quite like that. I don't know. But this was also, I think, her debut book. And so I really do want to read the second one, see if Ivy Wild is somebody I want to keep reading from, because I'm not quite sure at the moment. But I did enjoy it, but I feel like some things needed to be dived deeper into and explained a little bit more. And it wasn't like fluid writing, because sometimes something would happen. I'm like, wait a minute, how did that happen with that? Like, it feels like it skipped a step. But all in all, I mean, it's a good book to read. It's just not the best book. So then I read Wanted by the Alien Warden, which is the fourth book of the Cowboy Colony Mail Order Bride Service by Ursa Dax. I give that 4.5 stars. I have given them all 4 to 4.5 stars. These books can do no wrong. I love these books so much. It's getting to the point where I need them all in my possession, and I just want to, when I need a good laugh, I need to reread these books. Like, these are some of the funniest books I've ever read. Like, I cannot get enough. So this one is from Tasha and Warden 10. So the whole premise of this series is these aliens killed somebody before they hit puberty, so they were put on this planet. and they are convicts. And Warden 10 is their warden, and he watches them, and they have cattle, they have their own houses, they have to build everything themselves that they need, they have to do all their clothes, they have to do everything themselves. And at this point, 3 of his convicts have brides. And Warden 10 was working with Tasha to get the brides to the planet. Tasha finds out in this book that they're convicts. She did not know this entire time that they were convicts. So she kind of like freaks out, and she's like, well, I need to come to the planet, make sure like nothing bad's happening. So she gets there, and she wants to only be there a day. The Warden 10 is immediately attracted to her. She's immediately attracted to him, but she's like, I'm only going to be here a day and I'm leaving. Like, I have stuff I have to do. Like, this is my dream job. I love this job. And the girls are like, oh no, we love it here. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, they're convicts, they're murderers. And they go, oh yeah, but the things that they did, it's only because like like self-defense and stuff. So like what we would consider self-defense, they just completely say it's murder and you go to the planet. It's that kind of thing. So her and Warden 10 have to go to a few of the houses, and they go to another like area where there's another warden and then his convicts. So they learned about the mail order bride service, and so they're learning about humans, and she sits there, starts questioning them, and her and Warden 10 are together. He's very protective of her. He doesn't let anybody else make her clothes because she thought she'd only be there today. She had no clothes. So he started making her clothes. So yeah, I highly recommend this series if you just want a good laugh, because it's just ridiculous. And just the miscommunication is just, oh my God, the things that happen, because like their terminology for things are not the same as ours. So when they're talking, they're a little confused. So you have to over explain something. It is so funny. It is so funny. I highly, highly, highly recommend that book. Then I started my Fracture Fates Arrow Heart Academy mini binge from Hannah Hayes. I read the first one. I gave it 5 stars. This is a romantasy / reverse harem. So she has magic and she's unregistered in this world. And in this world, you must be registered and you must help in the war effort no matter what. And if you're not, and they figure out that you are unregistered, if you're over a certain age, then you can go to the mines and stuff. Well, she's only 20, so she can go to school. She can go to the academy. Well, the man is sent to get her, and he immediately feels the bond between them. But she feels it, but she doesn't know that's what it is because she's never been around a male her own age. Her aunt has been hiding her entire life. So she doesn't realize that that's what it is. She just thought it was like, oh, I think he's cute. She doesn't know. And so he calls his friend to come help him take her to the school. And he also feels the bond. And then she feels it with him too, but again, she just thinks he's cute. She has a pet pig named Pip. Oh my God, I love this damn pig so much. I cannot wait to continue on with the series. But anyways, she gets to the school, and this is a bully romance. And I did not realize I liked bully romance. This one, I really like it because I think it's because the man, the enforcer, first meets her, he's never really mean to her. He never bullies her. He tries to keep himself away because he's like 31 and she's 20. And he's like, she's young. Like, this is not going to work. Like, how am I going to make this work? And he's really trying hard to stay away from her, but he just can't. And the other guy, he's like, I'm 32. Like, I can't be with her. So he's trying to figure out how to break the bond. And he's also a professor at the school. And when they start finally getting together, it's the groveling. The groveling, it has me every freaking time. I love it when men grovel. Love it. So I think that's why I like it so much. And then there's the whole school is just so mean to her. And they call her Pig Girl because of her pig. But like her roommate, Winnie, oh my God, I love how this book represents like friendships too. So that's really nice. I do really like that. So yeah, that one was 5 stars because then right after that, I jumped right into Twisted Ties, which is the second one of the series. I could not put these books down. I gave that one 5 stars also. I could not stop reading it at all. Like, I couldn't stop. So yeah, I can't wait to read the next one. Okay, I thought somebody was outside my house, but they're not. Okay, so in this one, she's already done one bond, and there's another bond that's going to form I don't know how that's going to work because in the first book, she killed somebody that was trying to kill the enforcer. And so they know who she is because she killed that person, but that person is the brother of the main person of the Wolf Night of Wolves or Wolves of Night gang. And so he wants her dead. So he sends an assassin to kill her. Well, he also feels the bond at the very end of the first book. And yeah, I don't know how that's going to happen because everybody hates him. And he's a very known assassin. And he like becomes obsessed with her. It's kind of stalkery, and I don't really like stalkery, but he's like actually like really sweet to her. Like it's the weirdest. It's the weirdest thing for me to explain because he's so nice to her, and but yet he wants to gift her like ears and teeth and not flowers because that's just too generic. Like I'd rather take flowers than teeth. I'm sorry, but in this one, there's two other men at the school that they're fighting the bond also, and they're finding out that she's pretty much being hunted, and so they kind of start getting protective, but she just doesn't want anything to do with them. And it was so bad. And then she finally forms her second bond towards the end of this one, because then in the third one, Shattered Stars, I also gave that one 5 stars, of course. And she doesn't start another bond. Well, kind of. I mean, kind of. If you would say that, I don't know. Because at the very end of the second one of the guys, he admits like he can't fight the bond anymore. He can't. He doesn't want to. He's tired of fighting he's too tired. He can't. He wants to try to be with her. So his groveling is very like small, but yet consistent. And it's just sweet that he keeps going to her room, wants to carry her books to class. Super simple. And she's just, no, I want nothing to do with you. Get away from me. And then he always has a plate put to the side for her in the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She always wants to turn the plate in, but her friend's like, oh no, we're eating this. We are going to be getting good food today instead of oatmeal. And like, we're going to get good food. So she, I loved how there was a ball in this one. And he asked her to the ball in front of everybody, and she just said no. Said flat out no. I was like, oh my god. And he still tries. And then there's lots of little scenes with them. I mean, it's just the groveling. And then the guys that are actually bonded to her already are still groveling, even though they've formed bonds because they feel so bad with what they did to her. Well, especially the professor. What he did to her was so bad. And he's like, I don't have money, but I can give you knowledge because he's a professor. And so he's teaching her everything she wants, everything, no matter what, he's teaching her. And I really do like that because she didn't really have that and she wants to protect herself. And so at the end, there's also a creature that's brought into the book that was thought to be extinct, but it's not. And at the very end, the one guy that wanted to do carrying the books and everything, they kind of blend their magic a little bit just to like get rid of the dragons, but that strengthens the bond. But he's like, I don't care about the bond. We have to save everybody. So that's what they're trying to do. And she kind of like loses it for a second. And then all of a sudden she's gone and the guys don't know where she is. And I'm like, oh no. And I didn't pick up the fourth one because there was other books I wanted to read. But like every time I read a book, I'm like, I just really want to read that book. I really want to read that book. But after I read that one, I went into Never Never, which is the ninth book of the villain series by Serena Valentino. It's about Captain Hook. It's his origin story, and I liked it. I only gave it 3 stars. Like they're middle grade. I think it's because they're middle grade. I'm just like, meh, whatever. But I like knowing how they got to be the villain. But the only thing is they have characters in it because like all of the villains actually kind of like know each other. They all know each other, and there's these other characters that are brought in to make it worse, and those characters don't exist. But I'm like confused. I'm confused. I don't know. I think there's only 2 or 3 left. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I'm gonna finish the series. They're not my favorite books, but I do want to finish the series. Well, then after that, I read Shadow of the Forsaken. by Olivia Kimoto. It's the second book of Her Forsaken Me. So this was my arc I got, and I gave it 4.5 stars. It wasn't as good as the first one, only because one of the characters from the first one isn't in this book a lot. And I loved their personality. And that was kind of like carrying me throughout the book and all the banter and everything. But this one, there was a lot of like kind of like repetitiveness with one of the guys, and it was just a little bit annoying. And I was like, just get over it. Just get over it. Be done. She's on this job with this lady because if she doesn't, shit's gonna go down. So she, it's just so hard to explain this book without giving it away because it is really good. It's a really good book. And let's just say at the end, her and her 5 mates, because she mates the 5th one in this book, are all together going pretty much on their own adventure. That's the best way I can explain it. It's very confusing. There's a lot of moving parts going on, and I was a little lost. Not like lost, but like, oh, wait, now we're here, but like, wait, what happened to that? And then it would go back to that, and it would just, there was so much information. So much information. But it was very good, and I do really recommend that series. Well, then I read City of Ashes, which is the second book of the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. And I gave that one 4.5 stars. I know that at some point, Jason Clary find out the truth, but I don't know what book it is in. Because even the first time when it happened, I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that. I'm like, oh no, don't like this. Don't like it. Don't like it. And it's still the second one. I'm like, come on, when does this change? When does it stop being like that? Like, I don't remember. But this is when she tries to date Simon, and then he becomes a vampire, and things happen. Valentine's more involved, the villain, he's more involved this way around, and there's way more demons this way around. And I liked how they went to the elven court just to get some information, and that I remember that scene, and that was a really good scene. But yeah, I don't remember much of the rest of the series, so I'm really excited to keep rereading that series. But the next one I read is Built by Magic for the Falling for Fables series by Jenna Wolfhard. It's the 4th one. I give that one 4 stars. It's advertised as like a cozy fancy, like a cozy romantasy type of situation. Um, this girl wants to be in the Assassin's Guild because her entire family is part of the Assassin's Guild. And in order for her to do that, she has to go to an island and get a dragon from a man named Rune. And she's like, dragons don't exist. And they're like, yeah, they do. They're on this island. You need to get there. And she's like, but that island, if you get there, you can't get on the island if you're going to harm anybody. And he's like, but you're not going to harm anybody. You're going to get a dragon. So you're not going to harm them. You're just going to take a dragon. So she gets on this island. She meets the guy. The guy immediately knows what she's doing there, like who she is, like from the Assassin's Guild, whatever. So he like befriends her, and she immediately figures out that he knows. So she just keeps playing his game. So he likes to build like houses and stuff for like everybody around town, and she ends up helping him. And a little friendship comes about, and it was really sweet. It was a very sweet book. There's not heavy romance or like heavy like spice in this book. It's more towards the end, but it's nothing too crazy. Um, and a lot of stuff gets figured out. Like nothing super intense, but I did really appreciate that book for what it was. And I think there's supposed to be a 5th book coming out at some point, so I'm really hoping to read that one also. Well, then my last book I read was Your Secret to Keep. It's the 3rd book. Yeah, the 3rd book for the Play Caller series by Rachel LaBerge. So this is my first basketball romance. I really liked it. I don't know a lot about basketball. I know enough to get by, but I don't know like a lot. And this girl, she meets this guy at a bar, and happens to be this professional basketball player that tore his ACL in a game months before. And they end up just chit-chatting, hanging out for hours. And a few days later, she ends up getting a job there. And he's wondering, like, why is she here? And so she tells him, I applied months ago and I just got a call literally like yesterday. Like, I just got the call. So she's there and she doesn't want to do like the fraternization type of thing, but they can't really stay away from each other. And I do like it does have representation of like a disability. She always mentions like her wrists, her joints are hurting. She has like dry patches of skin and like a little bit irritated, like skin irritation. She talks about that a little bit, and he has kind of like a depression thing going on because of his ACL. And so it really does depict that very well. And then like working together, and it's called Your Secret to Keep because they are always like, oh, do you want to know a secret? And it like draws them in, and then it helps them like communicate with each other. And I just found it very wholesome and sweet. And I think there's going to be another one coming. I don't know, but she's popping these out pretty quick. But she came out with the other one last month or in February. Like it wasn't very long, and I like that the main characters from the first two books are in this book. Like they are in it a little bit. The second one more so because they're half brothers, so it makes more sense. But I do really like it, and yeah, I highly recommend this book because like the spice isn't bad. It's like very generic, like we're together and like stuff like that. It's nothing too crazy. So I do recommend that book. But yeah, those are the 15 books that I read this month. And I hope you read them also. And I hope you enjoy them. And I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye.